to see that there is so many facets and aspects to us, some that we're, consciously aware of, many and a majority that we're not aware of, and there's a lot of parts of us that we have disowned. So I want to look a little bit at this disowned self aspect, because as we know, once you can bring awareness to these things, then it can start to dissipate and we can then choose differently. We can work through some of the processes and techniques that are outlined in this module. So when I say disowned, I mean parts of ourselves that we've either, rejected or repressed. So Carl Jung, you may be familiar with him, he called this the shadow self. So remember, repressions are out of our awareness altogether, unlike suppressions, which we've consciously shoved down. So as children, as we know, when our subconscious programming is largely formed, there were parts of us that we selected as being more desirable, as being, more approved attributes. And this is based on the feedback that we had at the time. So we chose to live and own these. We sort of embodied them. They were more of the preferable attributes that people seem to like. So there was also those that, out of feelings of shame and things like that, that we deemed and made the judgment call that they were undesirable and hence non-approved. So we repressed them. But the thing is, it is still holding up space in the body. It still is emitting a certain energy. Remember, everything is energy. We keep coming back to that. So we need to, as I said, bring awareness around those aspects of self. It is just an avoidance strategy because they are still there. We've repressed them, but they're still there. And what happens is we start to project that onto other people. It's like this really quite powerful defense mechanism that we use. So whilst we find that those non-approved, undesirable, repressed parts of us, we actually, we start to see them in other people. And it's like when we see them in others, we judge it and we criticize it. Yet they are our own attributes that we're denying, that we're repressing. Remember that people come into our lives and they're mirroring aspects of us. If you spot it, you got it. You might have heard of that term. So there's a little exercise that I want you to do. So I want you to get a piece of paper and I want you to, on one side, you've got to identify two people. It doesn't matter if they're people that you know, if they're people that you've worked with in the past. It could be a celebrity, it could be a politician, it could be someone that's even passed on. But I want you to identify two people that you strongly dislike or disapprove of and list the qualities and the attributes that they have, that they exhibit, that they embody, that, really irritate you, that make you dislike or disapprove of them. It could be anyone. As I said, I know when I've done this exercise, I did it even recently, it was a politician and then there was a female celebrity. And just list it. On the other side, I then want you to think about two different people, and it could be anyone. Once again, you don't have to know them, they could have even passed on, but these exhibit or embody qualities and attributes that you really like and admire. So I want you to have both of the sides. And the thing is, what's really interesting is once you've identified them, it's then realizing and having that conscious awareness, wow, I also have that. And when we talk about the ones that we've, the disowned self, so the parts of us that we've disowned and we've repressed because they're deemed not, socially acceptable or approved and all that sort of stuff, I want you then to see, well, where am I also exhibiting those qualities? Because you do have them. It's realizing that they are in you. And then on the flip side, as I said, when you're looking at the people that you admire, realizing that you also have that, you also embody that. So, remembering also it can be symbolic or representative of something. It's not necessarily that exact identified attribute, but it could be a similar energy. The other piece to all of this that's really important to discuss is self-sabotage. So this is also something that we're doing totally unconscious. It's in the subconscious. And you might find that it could be something, we get to a certain point in our relationship or business and then we sabotage ourselves. And of course, we're not doing this sort of consciously. We don't choose to sort of get to a certain income level and that's it forever. We don't choose to, get to a certain point in a relationship, then we always, walk away or whatever. As we said, it's not conscious here. So what's happening is this is the self-saboteur aspect. And what happens with this self-saboteur aspect of us is it's constantly checking our subconscious mind to make sure that whatever it is that we're thinking of doing, whatever we're planning, whatever we actually do, that it is matching those beliefs, those attitudes, the concepts, the ideas, the emotions, and all of that other kind of, material and information that's sitting there deeply impregnated and entrenched in our subconscious mind. So if it's not congruent and it's not a match, you'll sabotage. And, it can be frustrating because this can play out for many, many years until we consciously see it and then, use one of these processes or techniques to actually then bring awareness to it and start to dismantle it, upgrade it, supersede it with something that we do want. So, an example could be, is just say, there's that belief there that, you'll never be rich. So it's what happens is this saboteur self will ensure that, you're never going to get rich, never exceed a certain income. It's not safe because remember, it is proving your subconscious conditioning as right, as correct. That's what it does. That's a function. So as I keep saying, the theme is awareness. Observe what's continually playing out in your life. See these patterns in the different areas. It's this inquiry process that I keep talking about. And then, of course, I said, use one of the techniques, use one of the processes and change it and, upgrade it and supersede it because you know what? You get to decide. You are a powerful being. I want you to affirm that. I get to decide. I am powerful. I am the master of my destiny. Just really remember that. It's actually really quite an exciting prospect. I mean, yes, there's all this information that, we're not taught when we're younger. But you know what? You're here now for a reason. You're hearing this for a reason as well. Maybe you've heard versions of this in the past, or maybe it's landing in a different way. And that's what I really believe. It's the same with me. I mean, I've learned so much of this stuff, but it seems to land differently in so many ways more recently. You get to decide. You are that powerful. And I'd love that I can assist you in this process.